So I will start by requesting the participants to introduce themselves, starting with Sana, and then we will go around so everybody can introduce themselves.
Okay, hi guys, I'm Sana from Pakistan. As Dr. Raja mentioned, that there were a lot of exam cancellations last year. So I did my PLAB 1 in 2019, November, and then I got 2 cancellations in March and in September. And then I finally was able to give my exam in the Feb of 2021, and I luckily passed 2 weeks back. So yeah, that's about it.
Noman, can you go next?
Yeah, hi guys, I'm Noman. I'm from Pakistan, and I did my PLAB in November 2020, and I got my first job in January, so I started in February. I'm currently working as a clinical fellow in Queen Elizabeth Hospital, London. So yeah, that's all.
Shall we go to Ahsan next? I think, Ahsan, there's a problem with your mic. We can't hear you for some reason. I'll come back to you, Ahsan. The voice is not coming through. Should we go to Inosh then?
Hi guys, I'm Inosh. I've finished my PLAB 1 in 2018, and 2019 I've finished my PLAB 2. And since September 19, I've been working in the NHS. Currently, I'm a fellow in acute medicine and geriatrics in Royal Free Hospital, London.
And Dr. Daniel, you can go next.
All right, hi guys. My name is Daniel from Nigeria. I PLAB 1 in November 2019. And like most people, I was unable to do it in 2020 because of the COVID. And with 2 cancellations, I did mine in January. And I passed PLAB 2 in January, trying to secure my EPIC registration. So GMC registration through the EPIC process. Hopefully, we'll be in education to push more. Thank you.
And Mohammed, did you go next?
Yeah, okay. I have some hoarseness of voice, but okay, I'm Muhammad Yusuf. I'm from Egypt. I'm 2015 graduate. I had my PLAB 1 in 2018. I have a multiple cancellation for PLAB 2, but then I passed it in the start of 2021. I'm senior radiology trainee. I'm trying to finish my residency and training in Egypt first. Then I will go for UK.
Okay. Ahsan, would you go next?
Hi, Dr. Raja, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay, hello everyone. So I am Ahsan Ahmed. I'm an IMG from Pakistan, graduated from Lahore Sheikh Zayed Medical College. I took my PLAB 1 right after my house job in November 2019 and was able to give PLAB 2 just before the start of the pandemic last year in March 2020. After that, I started my first job in NHS Scotland. I'm currently working as a clinical development fellow in trauma and orthopedics, and I've been here for the past 7 to 8 months.
Thank you very much, everyone, for introducing yourselves. I think, as you guys mentioned, that it has been a difficult year, and I like to say well done to all of you who worked on the front lines as well, and also to the ones who actually did the exams and came here. So what the way we're going to run it like this, I thought about different topics of which we can talk about for a young IMG. So first we will talk about PLAB 1 for about 20 minutes. I think it would be great if somebody has questions around PLAB 1. I'll ask all the young doctors to share their experience of PLAB 1 and how they went about it. Then we will talk about PLAB 2, and then we'll go and talk about the GMC registration and the EPIC verification process and the visa issues as well. In the meantime, you can keep asking questions on Facebook. We are keeping an eye on the page, and then we can add those questions and directly ask the panelists. So I think let us start with PLAB 1, everyone. So if a medical student, let's try think if it's finally a medical student, some people are very organized and they start thinking about PLAB 1 even when they are medical students. If they are at that level, or if they are a junior doctor thinking about PLAB 1, what would be your advice? How should they go about it? Should we start with Sana, and then I'll rotate to others?
Yeah, sure. So I gave my PLAB. Okay, so let's start from the IELTS and the PLAB one. Okay, so I gave my IELTS as well as my PLAB one at the end of my internship or my house job, and I would recommend all of you guys to do the same. Now, why am I saying this? Is because I mean, yes, there is a bit of uncertainty now, and it wasn't back then. But the benefit of giving it in the very end of your internship is that the same IELTS exam can work for your PLAB 1, your PLAB 2, the visa process, as well as your GMC registration. So that one exam runs, it has like a validity of 2 years. So let's say you pass both the exams in the first go, the validity is going to cover you all the way through the journey. So that's why I say that. The second thing, I mean, this is a bit sort of, it could vary from person to person and hospital to hospital. But what I gave my PLAB 1 my IELTS when I was posted in the ER. But what I can suggest you guys to do is to take your surgery rotations as a second. So you have like medicine and surgery. So take the last 6 months as a surgery rotation. So what happens is the surgery is like comparatively lighter than medicine. So what you can do is you can spare good enough time for your IELTS as well as for your PLAB 1. Yeah.
Should I go back to Enosh and ask him about his advice to the candidates?
Well, guys, as Sana has rightly mentioned, that IELTS is something which has a limited time span. It lasts only 2 years. So if you don't organize you don't plan well regarding PLAB 1 and PLAB 2, and you need to take a couple of attempts, that makes things a little bit more harder because you'll be ending up giving the IELTS twice, which is unnecessary, I feel. And you plan in such a way that once you finish your MBBS, you can start looking through all this PLAB material even when you're in your final year. And then once you are intern, things become easier because in the final year exam, you would have covered most of the topics. And PLAB 1 is something which is similar to that in the sense they give a question or a scenario and ask your question saying, what do you think would be the best, approach or investigation or things like that, which can be done in the current scenario. Because you would have done the revision anyway for your final year exams. It becomes a bit more easier if you plan during your housemanship or internship, whatever you call it. And don't waste time after you give IELTS. Make sure that you give it just before your PLAB exam. For example, your PLAB exam usually abroad happens twice in a year, whereas in UK it happens four times in a year. So whatever day you're choosing or whatever month you're choosing, make sure that you get enough time before you can apply and get the IELTS and cleared out of your way, and then go with your PLAB 1 preparation by just revising the past questions. Most of the times it's the uh, elimination which is more important, in the sense, why is this not the answer? Because all of them look so similar, the answers are almost the same, but you should know why this is not the answer and why this can be the best choice. So it's more or less kind of a elimination rather than picking up the right thing, because sometimes there'll be a confusion. Both look like the same answer, but then you need to eliminate based on your adjustment. So that happens only when you're acclimatized to that kind of questioning, so that you can get by doing more and more of past questions or doing more of mocks or repeating revision. So if ideally, I would say 1,700 questions is the best bet, and you can finish it in 1.5 to 2 months. And then the next time you pick the questions which you have done wrong. And if you keep doing that on a repeated process and add Oxford Handbook of Clinical Medicine and clinical specialties to your resources, then I think most of your bases are covered. So I would say that PLAB 1, it's not a walk in the park. It's not that cakewalk, but it's something which you can do it if you have that determination. So I would stop there.
I think that's very important advice, and I did that, and also advise young IMG, especially if you are thinking about coming to UK quite early. I thought when I did my PLAB, it was kind of an extension of my final year. So all the subjects I was already reading in final year, all the knowledge I already had in my head. So once you go in a specialty, your knowledge become more and more narrow. But as a young medical student, graduate from a medical school, your knowledge is actually that broad, which is required for a PLAB exam. And PLAB exam is actually testing your knowledge at a house officer level anyway, at a foundation year level. So I'll go to Naman. Naman, do you want to add anything or any specific advice around how to go about PLAB 1?
Hi, Dr. Raja. Yeah, I think I would agree with Dr. Sana, and I think that for someone who is in their medical college, I think they should focus on the subjects which they have in their final year, like you mentioned, because the PLAB 1 is basically from the clinical subjects, so that you mainly read in your final year. So do that very well. And I think to pass your IELTS and OET, the best time would be the time when you graduate and when you are looking for your internship, because it takes 2 or 3 months before getting an internship, so you can clear your language at that point. Now when during the internship, just have a light rotation in between and just give your PLAB 1. And yeah, and that one thing is right, that the surgical rotations, they tend to be easy. So I also passed my PLAB 1 during my internship in my surgical rotation. So that would be the best scenario. And just right after you finish your internship, you can appear for PLAB 2. I personally studied cleared PLAB 1 like in start of my internship. So you can study a little bit for your PLAB 2 during the rest of your internship. So that can be a thing. But these days, because of pandemic, things are very uncertain. So just clear your PLAB 1 at any point in your internship and then think about PLAB 2. Yeah.
Ahsan, would you like to
Yeah.
add something to that? Thank you, Naman.
Well, I'll agree to all of the above advices, and they're all very good. Just a couple of points regarding PLAB 1 preparation, because the other things have mainly been touched. What I did was a PLABable 1700 questions with explanations, but the additional thing which I did and which helped me a lot was making notes of the specific points that are frequently asked, or those points which I had difficulty in. Because if you make notes of certain things, you can revise those just before the exam. And instead of going through all the syllabus, those notes would just cover them up for you. So I revised all of my PLAB 1 just one day before the exam. And that is something which really helped me pass this exam. After that, the timeline, I'll divide this into two. There are medical students who ask me about the PLAB journey, and then there are junior doctors who ask me about the PLAB journey. For medical students, I'll just say, forget PLAB exams for now. Just focus on your CV, focus on doing some research work. We all do research during fourth year in community medicine, try to get it published, try to get certificates for it so that you have it in your record. Try to do some extracurricular activities to boost your CV. And the best time to think about preparing your PLAB or starting your PLAB journey is after your final year exams or when you graduate. So as everyone said, the ideal thing is IELTS just before your house job, PLAB 1 during your house job. And if you apply for PLAB 2 visa during your house job, that is when you are employed. And that is when it will be easier for you to get a visa, and you can show your finances and you can show your job to the Home Office and easily get a PLAB 2 visit visa. So yeah, I'll elaborate further on these when specific questions are asked.
Thank you very much, Ahsan. Dr. Daniel, do you want to add anything from your side for the PLAB 1 advice?
Well, not really. Everything was said, the only practical thing we have Nigeria, I would advise them not to start doing the service here, because I thought
Dan, I'm sorry, you're not very clear. We can't properly understand what you're trying to say.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit
better
yeah.
now.
All right. Sorry about that. I said, if you have Nigerians in the audience, the process will be a little bit different, because after your internship year, you have 1 more year to do what we call national youth service. You're mandated to serve the government for 1 year. It will be best for you to do the PLAB exams during that 1 year, not before, because of the time. You have the whole year that will be wasted if you do the IELTS before then. So the best thing to do is towards the end of your internship is to do the IELTS. Then during the service year, you can start the PLAB journey. That would be the easier part than starting before. That would just be only what I would have to add at this point.
Okay. Mohammed, do you like to add anything from your point of view from Egypt? Is there anything different or any general advice that you like to add on to?
Okay, the same advice. it's that you go for PLAB, better to come early. If you go for PLAB, PLAB 1 and 2 is an easy exam for if it is new graduate or old graduate, but it's better for new graduate because, as you said, you are not stuck with your knowledge and specialty. The thing is, I will advise people from Egypt exactly. They not disturb themselves by the time frame of language. Just to start, okay, doesn't matter to reach the registration with your previous OET or IELTS because OET has made it easy now, better than before. So you can take the OET again. It will be easy because you have gone all this way and you came to UK and for sure your language has improved. So don't disturb yourself by the time frame of OET. Just start because in Egypt you will have some obstacles because as males in Egypt we need to finish maybe our military service. So this may be done between PLAB 1 and PLAB 2. So it's better to just start, okay? And when you finish all your way, you can again repeat the OET. And regarding PLAB 1, it's I think as my friend said, I also did only PLAB 1 and also take some notes. Notes are very important, and I have studied for it around 2.5 months every day, just 2 hours or 1 hour. But the last 2 weeks was maybe more hours, maybe 8 hours. The last 2 weeks.
Okay. There was a question, Sana. Maybe you can answer that. There was someone already mentioned some the courses or whatever, the question banks. Is there anything that you want to add? If people are asking, is there any study material or?
Yeah. So, okay. So I think we got this question, what study materials we can use. Okay. So now I think amongst all of you, I think I'm the one who's like most recently passed PLAB 1. So what I can tell you guys is that there are new, so at my time I had PLABable. Okay. I'm sorry, but I'm not the Oxford handbook kind of person. I was happy with PLABable and I passed it with PLABable. But the thing is, it's PLABable and nice at times because a lot of things that we practice back home are very different from how they're practiced in the UK. So there are 2 sources that you can use. One is nice.co.uk. I don't know. Dr. Raja, what's the website for nice? Do you remember?
I don't know.
Yeah, you can look after it. Google and the other thing was the nhs.uk. So if you are ever stuck at a medical condition, I would say you use PLABable and then these 2 websites. And that's like one of the panelists mentioned, make notes. For every condition or every question or section, make notes because before, a day before your exam, you might not have enough time to sort of go through everything, so you should have things in your handwriting. That there is also something called giveaways. So in the PLAB exam, PLAB 1 exam, there are sentences that are giveaways. They're the words that are giveaways for the answer. So you'll very easily find them, and you can make yours as well. So focus on these words that give the answer away, sort of. Those things can help you. And yeah, for the ones who are asking what about med revision and PLAB keys and this and that, it's just simply the more you practice, the better. 1700 questions have now become a bit outdated. We don't get those sort of questions anymore. The STEM and the scenarios have basically changed. So I would say PLABable, nice, and nhs.uk, your own notes, and the keywords, and any other source from which you can practice. The more practice, the better. That's my say on it.
Is there any other question you can see for the PLAB 1? I'm just trying to look for there was
so one question, it's not for the PLAB 1, but it's about the IELTS and OET. So I did IELTS. I don't know if anybody in the panel did OET, or if you can guide whether people should go for IELTS or OET.
All of you did IELTS. I'm just guessing.
Yeah, everybody did IELTS.
Okay, so I think I'm going to take this question. My answer to this will be OET is sort of easier than IELTS academic. That's my perception about it. you guys should go through the you have these books available, IELTS questions, you have these past papers available. Go through the past papers of IELTS Academic, go through the past papers of OET, and then see which ones you can do. It's as simple as that.
Can I say something?
Yes.
I mean, how I explain the difference between OET and IELTS is very simple. If someone asks me to talk about tuberculosis, I can talk about it very easily. If someone asks me to talk about the Statue of Liberty or the Queen of England, it would take me a while and the discussion wouldn't be as good. So my English there would drop because of lack of knowledge. And if someone asks me to talk about tuberculosis or pneumonia, it's easier for me. So OET is basically occupational English test, and that makes it easier to take the exam.
Can I add something?
Yes, please. Yeah.
Please, IELTS is way easier. I don't know. I've not written OET before, but I think IELTS is very easy. Anybody that wants to write IELTS, I'll give you one or two advices now. One, go to a website called pdf.com. Look for a book called Collins IELTS practice book. It has 4 books: IELTS speaking, IELTS writing, and the other 2 you're supposed to do. If you download that material, you will definitely pass IELTS University. There's no two ways about it. Then for further practice questions, go to IELTSmaterials.com. That website has a bunch of past questions, over 100. Do that every day, like 2. Do you understand? One of reading in the morning, then you could do reading again at night. Time yourself. If you give yourself a month to practice, you'll definitely pass IELTS. It really doesn't matter which one you write. To me, it's the same. I will see IELTS, definitely the same.
Is there any other questions, Sana? I'm sorry, you were going to say something.
Yes. I just want your, like all of yours, 2 cents about. There's a question: how long should they sort of keep aside for the preparation of PLAB 1? So just tell us. Okay, so let's cover how much time did you give for IELTS or OET, whatever exam you gave, and how much time did PLAB 1 take for you?
So Noman, should we start with you?
Yeah. So I think it should not take more than a month for both. So for it should take maximum 1.5 months for both. Yeah, that's what I would say. Yeah.
1.5 months is not a very short time for PLAB 1. I thought you need at least to study for 3-4 months, 5 months.
I studied like for 35 days during my house job, and it's why I think it's doable, because in PLAB 1 they are not demanding so much from you. You just need to keep the things superficial. If you will dig deep into the topics, that is I don't think that's advisable. I did PLABable only, and it has like 2,500 questions. So what I did, that I had a tablet, so you can install an app for PLABable in it. So when you're on call, then when you are free, you can just scroll down the questions and just revise it again and again and just give it. I think PLAB 1 should not take much. PLAB 2, I think you might need some time, but in my opinion, PLAB 1 should not take more than 1.5 months. Yeah.
Hassan, would you like to give more time?
Well, yeah, I'm not that intelligent as Noman is, so it's some more time to prepare for PLAB 1. For IELTS exam, I prepared for like a week because I was confident in taking IELTS. But for PLAB, it took me 1.5 to at least 2 months because it's difficult. I was doing my house job and my rotation was medicine, which is by far the most difficult rotation. So I had to give it proper 2 months time and every day 3 to 4 hours of study. Finishing PLABable at least twice and making my notes and revising them regularly on a weekly or fortnightly basis.
Okay.
So I would take at least 2 months for PLAB 1.
Okay. What about you, Mohammed? What would you say?
Yes, English exam will be different from person to person. But the thing is about PLAB 1 will be similar between most of us. Definitely, it has become more difficult than before, like Namen. But now I think it may be at least 2 months. And according to the schedule of the person, if he has work or not. But if he is empty most of the time, he doesn't do any work. It maybe take 1.5 months to 2 months. I already I have done only PLAB 1, but as Sana said, it may increase the searching other website. But the thing is, it's better to be confident and try to do more work on PLAB 1 because it's very difficult now to not post PLAB 1 and trying to find a seat again on PLAB 1 next PLAB 1 because there is a lot of a lot of people and it will be fully booked early. So it's better not to take this risk and split it to another like PLAB 2 or something.
Okay, Dr. Anush, is there any advice from you?
Well, I would say what all these guys have said is right, but the amount of or the duration of preparation is directly proportional to the time between your graduation and the time you're taking the exam. Yeah. The longer gap you have, the longer time you need to prepare because you would have forgotten most of your basics. If you're taking the exam immediately after your final year, then you just need to revise few things and that takes a very short time. But then if you have spent considerable time, either working as a doctor or you're specializing in a particular department, then you would have forgotten the other departments, other subjects. So it takes a bit more effort. And then English exam, it's basically about your orientation. What is expected of you in that exam. The minute you understand that, you don't need to worry too much because if you have, done your medicine, then your English is good enough and you are able to communicate and then pass the exam, whatever, be it IELTS or be it OET, you can easily do it. But only thing you need to understand what's expected of you in each exam, so things will be easier. And then, as I've said, PLAB 1, the duration is always dependent on the duration you have spent after your graduation. So I would stop there.
Dr. Daniel, do you have any comment on this particular duration question?
Yeah, thank you. I agree with what Dr. Enoch just said. Your ability to pass PLAB 1 will depend on when you graduate.
Daniel, I'm sorry, we're still not able to hear you properly. And everybody is like in the chat box, they really want to hear you, but we can't.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's better now.
Thank you. Sorry, I'm using the earpiece. So, I said that your ability to pass PLAB 1 will depend on what Dr. Enoch said, your schedule, 1, and 2, how far and how long out you graduated. If you graduated recently, it shouldn't be difficult for you to prepare. Then if you spent the time and quite a particular amount of time working or practicing another field, then you need ample time to prepare for the exam. Then you also need to understand that people assimilate things differently. So you need to understand your rate of assimilation and work that into your preparation time. If you're someone that understands or assimilates things very fast, then it shouldn't be difficult for you to prepare the exam. But if you're someone that needs ample time to prepare, then you should give yourself ample time to prepare. That's the thing.
All right, so now should we move on to PLAB 2 or should we, has you got something else to say?
No, sir, we don't have any more questions regarding PLAB 1. There is a question that's that whether can I use USMLE stuff for PLAB 1? I just want to take this question. So why are you, why are you complicating your life? When you have USMLE has a completely different exam than PLAB 1 and you have very good PLAB 1 resources available, then just don't complicate life, go for PLAB 1 resources. That's it.